So you want to develop a social media strategy for you, but you're not sure where to get started because there are so many moving pieces. This is exactly what I'm going to share with you in this video, so let's dive right in. My name is Jelena Ostrovska from JelenaOstrovska.com, and I'm a social media manager and content strategist, and I create organic social media content that converts for coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs. So this is exactly what we're going to be talking about, which is the social media strategy. So there are really 6 steps that you need to follow in order to make it happen. So step number 1 is your end goal with social media. So you have to define what it is that you want to accomplish. Is it to generate leads? Is it to bring more sales for your business? Is it to raise brand awareness? So there are multiple different goals that you can hit with social media. So you have to start with that intention, because there's a lot of people that create content and they think that they're going to be influencers or business owners, and they're not really sure what the heck they're doing. So you have to decide clearly what is your purpose on social media, and every single piece of content is going to have a different intention. Every single week can even be a different intention for your content strategy. So you have to get clear, because if you don't know why you are on social media in the first place, it's going to be really hard to really hit those goals. It's kind of like driving somewhere without GPS. If you don't know where you're driving, you're going to end up nowhere. But if you clearly know your direction, if you know your goal, then you're going to be able to hit that goal quicker. Now, let me also add that these goals can change month by month and sometimes week by week, because a lot of the times people think, oh man, like this is going to be so hard for me to create a goal. I want to hit multiple different things. Now, if you are a course creator and you have a launch, in the month of June, for example, so you have to have like different goals for the month of May and different goals for the month of April. So in April, you may be focused on brand awareness. And then in May, you're going to be focused on nurturing that audience and building that relationship. So in June, you're going to be able to, develop an offer and sell that offer to that nurtured audience, right? So you have to do it in phases. You can't do all of it at the same time. So make sure that you have that clear. Step number 2 is defining your target audience. So who is it that you are trying to attract? And again, do not tell me that, oh, Jelena, I want to attract everybody that's breathing. This is going to be a major pain in the butt, because when you're trying to target everybody, you end up targeting nobody. So you have to talk to that one person, especially when you're just getting started. And there's a couple of questions that you can ask, which are, which products are they already buying? So if you are selling skincare, maybe your target audience is already buying a different brand of skincare. Maybe they're already buying makeup, because a lot of the times people that buy skincare, we use makeup first, we ruin our skin, and then we go and we start buying skincare, right? So that's just one example. So figure out like what kind of products are they already buying? Are there any like major companies that are selling to your target audience where you can go and do your market research, right? So just define your target audience. Here's a couple more questions that you can ask yourself. What are the demographics? Like, are you just trying to target local customers or local businesses if you're a B2B kind of business? Or are you trying to go global? Maybe you're trying to go like into the United States or Australia or United Kingdom. So do you have like a local product? So demographics, are they women? Are they men? Are they married? Do they have kids? Maybe you're just going to be targeting moms, right? So get that clear, because again, like you don't want to be talking to everybody. And the most successful companies that I have seen, especially the ones that are emerging fairly recently, all of them are successful simply because they focus on that one person. And now here's something else that's going to help you as we lead into the step number 3 is, where are they already hanging out online, right? So we have TikTok, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, there's even Reddit that some people still use, we have LinkedIn. So who do these people already follow? Like, which accounts are they already naturally spending time on? Like, do they go into any big brands accounts? Do they, watch any particular Facebook videos? Do they read specific books or maybe magazines, maybe digital magazines? So where can you go and attract those people? So now, and as I was already mentioning, we are at the step number 3, which is competitor research. I always find it extremely important. While we do not want to copy what somebody else is doing, but we definitely do want to like see and feel the market, like what is already happening, what are people talking about, what, like, find at least 3 to 5 people or brands that are direct competition to you. They sell the same thing, or you want to sell the same thing, and you're simply trying to figure out where are they hanging out, which platforms do they hang out more. Maybe there's a platform where they don't hang out and you have that opportunity where you can tap into, right? And I always want to mention this, like, do not ever try to copy what somebody else is doing, because you're probably going to get sued. And the other thing that you also want to keep in mind is, you know, whenever they do all the same thing, like maybe you find 3 competitors and they're literally seem like a copy and paste business, do the opposite. Figure something out, like do a better market research, ask better questions to your audience, and then, you know, see how you can stand out, right? So which leads me to step number 4, which is your brand message. Now, your brand message is going to be the differentiator factor. So this is going to be your own unique spin of doing business. This is going to be your own unique way of how you run the business, of how you find customers, of how you position yourself, and how you really talk about your offer, right? So here you get to decide, well, first of all, are you going to be a personal brand, or are you going to be like a company brand? Like, are you going to be more on like on the corporate side, right? Because some companies, you know, some agencies, they don't want to build a personal brand and they just focus on the company and they don't even want to show their face, which is perfectly fine, right? They don't want to be on the forefront, but they want to be kind of more in the back, you know, in the back of the business, right? So you want to figure out like, what is your story? What is your brand's story? So recently I found a company, I'm not going to mention them here, but their whole unique way of the way that they like grew and became successful and grew to a multi-million-dollar company was bootstrapping, right? So they bootstrapped their way to creating success. They never got investors, they never, you know, got into debt, never got any kind of loan. It was just a couple guys and girls who, you know, pulled their efforts together, pulled their money together, and made it happen, right? So that's like, I'm probably like gonna remember the company that way every single time somebody asks me about them. And yeah, so like figure out what is your own unique story, because there's nothing else that's going to differentiate you other than your own background and your story, because we all do something. Like there's a million businesses selling social media management, there's a million businesses selling coaching, there's a million businesses selling skincare. There's always going to be something that's going to differentiate you from everybody else. And also one more thing that I want to say, do not be afraid to get vulnerable. Do not be afraid to share your story, even if you feel like, oh my gosh, like this was so bad, I don't know if people are even gonna like relate to this. Share it anyway, but be very careful with how much of vulnerable you get, because sometimes people do it to the point where it makes them look like a victim, and that's not really a good place to be. So you want to like balance it out. Share the successes, share the failures, share again the successes, the failures, and like the background. Do not always be like, oh, like I'm trying to like get some pity out of people. That's not going to be a good way to, you know, get memorable. Step number 5, develop content pillars. So content pillars are a very simple thing for a business. Essentially, this is going to be you being organized with the kind of content that you are going to be creating. So, and usually it's going to be 3 to 5 buckets of content that your brand is going to focus on. For example, for me, it is social media. So I talk a lot about social media. I talk about organic content creation. I talk about you know, outreach and networking. So that's like another part where I talk about building relationships. And then the other part is I talk about entrepreneurship and just in general getting organized. I do love to talk about systems. You know, me being a social media manager, that's kind of a common thing. So that's something that I do for myself. I do like to teach, and I do feel like it's going to be beneficial to other business owners. So if you are, you know, a skincare brand, for example, I keep going back to skincare, you may talk about like how to improve your skin naturally, right? Something like that. You can talk about makeup, or like how to remove makeup more quicker. So you can talk about, you know, different skin types, right? So you can talk about, you know, those kind of things. Now, if you are a business coach or if you're a relationship coach, you can talk about, long distance relationship. You can talk about how to text somebody, right? You can talk about how to land dates. So you can like pretty much split it into like multiple different things. You can talk about the dating phase, you can talk about relationship phase, you can talk about the marriage phase, right? So if that fits your bill. And step number 6 is the most fun part, is creating a content calendar. Now, could talk about it for hours about creating content calendar, but I actually did a video right here that I published quite recently where I shared my entire system of how I use ClickUp to develop a content calendar across multiple different social media platforms, including YouTube. So definitely check it out. Essentially, creating a content calendar is you put the first 5 steps together and then you start creating an actual strategy and you make it actionable, and then you start scheduling your content either, a month in advance, 2 weeks in advance, a day in advance, whatever you can manage, but you have those content topics planned, and then you write the captions, you add the hashtags if necessary, you add a video or an image or a carousel, any kind of graphic, and then that's going to be your content strategy. And that's pretty much how you create a social media strategy. You really have to be intentional about it. That's the key phrase that I want to say right here. Now, if you do want to learn more, I do have a free newsletter that I send out every single week where I share industry news, the latest in social media. Sometimes I share a little bit of, drama in the coaching and business world, because there's always something happening. So if you want to get the gist out of it, click the link down below in the description box. There is a newsletter registration form, which is absolutely free, and that's kind of where I hang out a lot. I email, I chat to you. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to reply back. And if you would like to get notified about videos just like this, every single week I publish new content on YouTube, so hit the bell sign down below, hit the subscribe button if you enjoy this kind of content, and hit the like button as well if you enjoyed this video in particular. And definitely let me know down below into the comment section if you have any questions or you want to add anything to that video, or if you have any questions that you would like me to cover in the future videos. They're totally welcome, so let me know below. And before you go, check out these videos right here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.